Okay, we're back in REW for some more fun. Today I want to do a individual calibration on my left and right speakers. I've explained in a previous video the benefits of individual speaker calibration, but people wanted to see how I did it and what you have to do in MultEQ-X here. I'm not aware or sure if you can do this with other room correction systems, but Audyssey does allow you to do this now, which is great. So yeah, let's load this file up. This is an empty file of my current calibration. It just has all of the EQ work taken off. So let's just check this out. We'll connect. There is always a current calibration on my receiver, so we actually have to get rid of that, so to take real measurements. If you go to design target curve here, we want to use individual channels now, not just the fronts. What I do is, for measurement purposes, I disable the cutoffs for all of the channels. I'm not going to do all the channels today, but that's something I do. I make sure that I want really a raw feed into what the speakers are doing, with no EQ, no roll-offs, nothing that's going to cut the treble or bass in any way. It will be the same response as if Audyssey is turned off. Another thing is the filter settings here. I make sure that these are correct. It takes a little while. Reference and flat are different, by the way, so you need to make, if you're making flat versions of your EQ, you need to check this, that these settings are the same as the flat version. So what I do now is I set this to limit measured, and what that means is that any EQ that I provide to Audyssey up to 24K, it will use. Whereas if you use limit all, the limits now become what are set here, which is essentially a hard cutoff at 20K and up to 10 Hertz. So what I do is now set every single channel to limit measured, and it essentially blocks all of this and allows any EQ that I use to be boosted or cut in any way. So if I did want to make changes to a speaker at 24 Hertz, 23,000 Hertz, 23K, like by +5 or -5, I can do that. But in the other way, you are restricted, like to 20K. So not a big deal, to be honest. Using EQ above 20K is actually not something I actually do anymore. But I figured, this is really the best way to do this, I think, where your EQ is what is the limit, nothing else. Nothing gets in the way then of your EQs or target curves doing it this way. And I apply all the same settings as well then to flat too, because I noticed there was differences in the flat versions of the EQ files that I was sending. So yeah, just needed to make sure that they were correct. I also make sure as well that my channel trims are 0. I don't want any, it doesn't matter. This could be +10. It doesn't matter as long as the volume that you're measuring at is the same for the left and the right speaker. I tend now to measure my speakers at 75 decibels. All the speakers are large as well, which is what you want. You don't want to measure things with small, otherwise you'll start activating the sub, which will give you, you'll be EQing part of that sub out of the response, and you don't want to do that. So that's everything. So let's send that, and essentially this is not sending filters. This isn't really sending anything. This is actually just sending distances, volume information, which there is none, but it still has to send it. It has to tell the receiver that, you know, this is at 0 dB for each channel trim and things like that. Real quick, I'm going to use REW, obviously, but to measure. But the sweep tones, I'm actually going to use them by OCA here, Obsessive Compulsive Audiophile. This video here has got linked Dolby Atmos sweeps, and to 24-bit 48, just like all of the sweeps here. So, you know, everything is kept in a 24-bit 48. Audyssey turns everything into 24-bit 48 also. So everything here, my PC is the output is 24-bit 48. So everything is kept 24-bit 48 native, which again, it actually does help with Audyssey being this way. So yeah, very good. There is another way you can do this though, and that is use Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit by TECHNO-DAD and John Tell. This is a Blu-ray release. Why this is actually really good is it has full range pink noise. Now what you can do with full range pink noise is typically full range pink noise in an RTA window here is actually used, a lot of people use it for moving mic, which is essentially literally picking your microphone up with a 0-degree calibration file, moving it around slightly just to get a more of a 3D response of what is going on in the room, and it starts to average out what is really going on using that way. However, you don't have to do that. When you measure RTA, you do not have to do it that way. You don't have to use a moving mic. You can just keep your microphone in the position that you would normally measure a sweep with, and let these files are, I believe they're 2 minutes long, and you can just let them run for 100 cycles, 150, 200 cycles to get a really good average of what's going on. The only restriction you have here is that this is limited to 1/48 octave of detail, whereas a sweep is not restricted in that way. It's actually unrestricted just to the point of its own resolution, like 24-bit 48. That is its technical limit. So if you know anything about video, like if you have a 4K native file, but well, back in the day when the Blu-ray, when Blu-ray kind of just started up in 2006, a lot of the masters were 2K, but so is the output of Blu-ray. So you would think that using, say, a 4K file would be a waste. It's actually not. The more detail that you have in the source, the better the down conversion to, say, 1080p was. So if you have an 8K source or a 4K source and it's higher than the resolution that you're actually outputting, you actually gain even more detail. So that could be said the same in audio, where I want the absolute bleeding edge resolution sweeps that you can possibly get, which are these by OCA in 24-bit 48. They are beyond the resolution of the RTA as well. And will that give me cleaner results, better EQ? So far, from what I've heard, the answer is yes. But I haven't actually tested the RTA way now versus this way. One benefit of using Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit is that is on Blu-ray, and that full range pink noise is 24-bit 48, and it is also in Atmos as well. So I would like to try this and do it that way. So very interesting. Two ways that could be done, and I definitely do want to try this one day. I have tried it in the past, but that's when I was calibrating with not doing individual calibrations, and the results were excellent. So, excuse me. But yeah, we'll be using the sweeps today. Alright, REW. This doesn't matter now because we're actually not using REW to, use the sweeps. We're using a U-Mic 2. Calibration file, 90 degree, good. I set this now to psychoacoustic because it's actually annoying to measure and then always continue to set this to psychoacoustic. I have found, personally, I've done too much EQ and calibration over the last 2 weeks, and you can set this to 1/12, right, which is more detail than psychoacoustic. So the conversation I was actually having just now about more detail should be true, but it's not when it comes to actually EQing in this way. So one thing to say real quick about Audyssey is with target curves and things, the frequencies are at least 1/12 octave apart. So the limit of this, of what you could import into Audyssey on any receiver, this is on any receiver because it's the actual software itself, is a maximum detail of 1/12. However, I've done a 1/12 EQ and it simply did not sound as good as psychoacoustic. Why that is, I'm not sure. I think, well, here's one thing to say. I think I'm overcorrecting for stuff. I'm not saying it's not there, but I think I'm overcorrecting for stuff that our ears just simply do not hear. Another thing is it doesn't translate into a better reading either. Like when I take a sweep and I've done a full calibration with 1/12, then I do a full calibration in psychoacoustic. Psychoacoustic is better. It actually, when everything then is, I have both results, but I then smooth them both to psychoacoustic. The psychoacoustic version is actually better and smoother in the treble area entirely. It's just better. As well, using smoothing like 1/12 in the bass area, it's too aggressive. It's jumping up and down. It's way too aggressive. And the smoothing for psychoacoustic, again, I've been trying a load of these over the last 2-3 weeks. What actually sounds better to your ears, to my ears, is psychoacoustic. I wouldn't even use 1/6. I wouldn't do it. Now, if you know, I believe this is how psychoacoustic works. In the bass region, it uses 1/3 smoothing. In the mid-range area, it uses 1/6. And in the treble, it goes back to 1/3. At least, I think that's what it said on REW's like help section. That's how psychoacoustic works. And out of all of these, I did not test that. I tested 1/6, then I tested 1/12, then I tested psychoacoustic, and psychoacoustic, the results are better and it sounds better. Whether that's an Audyssey thing as well, that's one thing I've been thinking about as well, the way the actual information gets sent to Audyssey and the receiver and the way it deals with it, things like that. Because another thing is, if you have more aggressive EQ, Audyssey has to balance that volume now in a different way. So that's another thing to think about. So yeah, for me, psychoacoustic is 100% best to use in Audyssey. Again, I've tried them all. It's 100% the best. Okay, so yeah, I think we're ready to go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to play from file. Now, OCA's file. This is the Atmos Sweeps True HD. What you have to do here is you have to put a wave file in. This tells REW, you know, the resolution of the file, what to expect, and how long the sweep would be. So you put that in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press start. And this gets to about 2%, and then it says REW is like it's ready to then hear the sweep, which is basically when I will play this file. This is going to be a file for the left channel. And very, very quickly, let's go into, this is VLC player. This is a free player, which you can donate to if you like using the player. I think this is a very popular player, but you can come into preferences here, go to audio, output module is Windows multimedia device output, and the pass-through here through HDMI is enabled. That wants to be enabled. I'm making sure this is going to my Denon, just because I'm using these headphones, and I started a video and it started playing the sweep through my headphones. I was like, oh, I've got to change something, so I had to I'm starting the video again. Another thing, I always make sure that the video's levels are at 100%. When the video's levels are at 100% in VLC player, it will not clip. So I think this goes to 120%. Be careful. That's going to distort. Though I'm not 100% if these levels get applied then when you output going through a HDMI. So, but yeah, I never go above this anyway. So, okay, so everything is ready. Measure. I won't talk while we measure. Okay, so these are good, long, detailed sweeps. Left. Okay, this is the left channel. Then we will go to EQ. We're not going to EQ. However, I have my Harman target curve in place here. Now make sure add room curve is turned off. You do not want this on at all. Because this is the curve where, well, let's just clear this. Right, so this is flat. Make sure this target curve is flat. Completely flat. Then what you can do is you can browse for your target curve that you're going to use. I'm using a Harman target curve here. OCA actually provided this as well. I edited it just to make sure that it goes to 24K. Not really a thing, you know. I wouldn't worry too much about this. But I'm pretty obsessive and compulsive as well, and I make sure if I'm dealing with a 24-bit 48 system that I have full access to everything that I need. Anyway, then what we can do is we can generate measurement from target shape. What that does is it puts the target now down here. So this looks to be normalized. So we may as well normalize everything anyway. So if you go to SPL align here, use SPL specified 0 dB. If you want to align anything using Audyssey to these values, Audyssey's alignment center is 1K. And it is 2 octaves above and below its response. That's how Audyssey balances. I have confirmed this with Audyssey. I sent them an email and I said, look, how does your volume balancing work? And they told me exactly how it works and how to do this in REW as well. So that's what you get. So this is the average response of the target itself, and this is the response of the left channel here versus really the target curve in a normalized volume state. So you can truly see like what's going on. The treble tends to drop off on these speakers. They are ELAC Unify floor standards. They are the version 1s, they're not version 2s. The version 2s I don't think would have this bass. I've heard they don't have very good bass compared to these. But you can see here what some of the issues we have here. What this does is it creates shallowness in symphonies. Pirates of the Caribbean is something that comes to mind. That style of music would actually sound slightly shallow here, where it should have warm violins and that symphony sound. You don't quite get that, but you do have bass thud with this speaker. And again, this roll-off here is almost emulating a vinyl roll-off. This is why in, say, a demo room, these speakers can actually sound quite good in that type of environment, because it almost gives you a false impression. You know, there is this roll-off happening, and speakers that sound smoother to me in demo rooms sound better. If it's too bright in a demo room, I tend to like back away. But it is interesting that Andrew Jones designed his speaker this way. There's almost a cinema EQ roll-off going on here as well. There's no harshness, you know, like this either. But you know, we can do better. We can definitely do better. So trace arithmetic. The target wants to be on top, and the measurement needs to be B. Then we go A over B. I keep this at 0% because it lowers the amount of potential EQ that you would do. I just leave that. I have played around with it, and I played around with a few of these numbers just to see how it works. It essentially cuts the amount of boosting that you would do, but I don't want to do that. I'm in a psychoacoustic system anyway. This is the resolution that I want to use. I don't want to use any of this regularization at all, so it's on at 0%. Generate. Done. We will SPL align once again. This response will change when SPL aligned this way, slightly. If you see the blue line here, very, very slightly. Okay, so A over B. Now what we do is export text as measurement. Now this is exactly how I set mine up. Audyssey only goes down to 10 hertz. So I'm not going down to 2. This would otherwise be like 2 to 24. The point of this custom range is really just to cut the thing off at 10 hertz. There's no need to go down further anyway. I will be playing 0. I'll be applying zeros to that point anyway. There's just no need to go further down. I set this to 25K just to make sure that the full measurement will be taken when saved, just to make sure I have everything. That's all I do. I don't include headers and comments, which is anything above the readings here, because I delete them anyway. So let's save. YouTube calibration, left. Yep, left, that's fine. Okay. No, wrong one. We're on YouTube. Here we go. Okay, left. Let's check this out. Okay, so this is like the exported numbers that we get. And if you see these numbers here, this is 44. Now remember, we're normalized, so this plus 10 hertz is being boosted by 44 decibels. We can't have that. We have to deal with this, which we will. But where do we get to? Here we go. So the speaker meets the target curve right there. And then boosting after 48 hertz or 49 hertz is then needed to fill in everything we're missing. And this is where you need to take care of all of this. Chances are maybe the roll-off would deal with it at, an 80 hertz roll-off, but I would definitely not trust that. I use a receiver, not a processor. So I am always aware of how much amplifier headroom I have. I don't want to overdrive speakers at all. So I'm going to take care of this, and I'll show you how. I have to use a spreadsheet to do it. There is some other workarounds if you didn't want to use a spreadsheet. I maybe won't go into that. But if you see the way I do treble, you could do this with the bass if you did not want to use a spreadsheet. Or you didn't really know how to use a spreadsheet. I had to learn how to use the spreadsheet. I'm not really a spreadsheet guy, so I kind of had to figure out exactly how to use it. This is what I like to do. And if you can see, even at 18 hertz, compared to the target curve, we are having to boost treble by 6 dB. That's significant. It's not bass. If you actually had to boost bass by that in a receiver, if you had separates and you had monstrous power and things like that, this is not really things I worry about. But the very fact of the matter is that now we've normalized things, and Audyssey is going to take this information. These signals are being boosted by a certain amount. So before this gets out of hand, what I like to do is I actually like to pull all of this information out. Now, some people are thinking you can't do that. You actually can't, I agree. However, there is a workaround, because this system is to 24K, and I'm not giving Audyssey the information it needs to reach 24K. It's kind of just, in Audyssey at least, if you allow a house curve to just finish like this, it will continue to go in the direction that it was going, which these numbers are actually being boosted. So 7, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 9. That means it will continue to boost up to 24K, because that's the direction that it was going. Well, what you can do here is you can just change the direction that it was going. So if I change this to the number above is 7.25. So if this number is less than that number, it's going to change the direction of the slope of the curve. So what I do is I change it to this value, which is always the one above the last number there. So I change this to 7.560, and for me that's my treble taken care of. What this will do, and I'll show you in Audyssey what this has achieved. You will see a slight roll off going down to 24K. There are other workarounds for this. Some people might be like, look, I want to fill this information in myself, but I actually want to roll it off in a different way. You can use AI services, OpenChat AI or Bard or something like that. I've done it. It can be done. You can tell them exactly what you want and they will do it. And I tell them exactly what I want. I have an EQ curve that goes to 24K and starts at 20K. I want you to roll these numbers off in a negative fashion, instead of what is being shown now as them being boosted. I had to kind of teach the AI services what I want all the time. And then what I say is, whenever I say this is what I want to happen. So yeah, you can mess around with AI to finish in the rest of the code. You don't need to when you do it this way though. When you do it when you've changed the direction of the curve itself, Audyssey specifically, and I say that because I don't know how other room correction services work, or software works, but in Audyssey, once you change the direction, it will change everything like that. So now in theory you could do this the same with bass, the bass area. So I'm not going to do this with the bass because you need to take care of it, in my opinion, in a different way. Where are we? Okay, so negative numbers, this is good. I want to, as soon as I get to positive numbers here, we're going to pull all these out. So let's grab everything. I don't want these boosted, so I want to I use this word a lot, but I want to not normalize. I want to not apply EQ or these positive numbers or negative numbers to these frequencies. So what you do is I've set up a spreadsheet here to take care of this. I just called it MultEQ-X target curve fix, and if I haven't shared it in my descriptions, I will put it in the description. What you can do is you can make a copy for yourself so you can use it and so you can edit it, because I haven't given anybody else access to this to actually edit this version, so you would actually have to make a copy for yourself, and then you can do whatever I do, So what we have to do here is clear the column from my last measurements and click here on the first column and Control V, which is to paste this. And depending on how much room you have at the bottom of this, like this, some of it is not selected, see? And we have a gap at the bottom as well. I'm going to keep the gap there though, because I want to show you how to deal with it when we actually import it essentially to the notepad here. So unclick this and now click. So now the entire column is selected. Now what we have to do is we have to click data, split text to columns. Click that. And normally you actually have to say here that you want the separator to be a space, but it's just done it automatically. So typically here you would have to click space, but it's apparently doing that already for free. So yeah. Now one thing here is we can see here is this Sheets likes to truncate numbers, which I wish you could like kind of set up a default way of dealing with this, but apparently not. One example is here. So these are 6-digit long numbers after the point number, and these are 0.3s. Well, here it can truncate 4493. That should be a 0 because it is obviously implied that it is a 0, but the way I am, being completely OCD, is I want to make sure that if these are 6 digits then and these are 3, they will always be there. So what you can do is you can click on the column here, go to Format, Number, and right now they're set to automatic. So these are custom number values, 0 and 6 zeros long. So I want that to apply to that column. And this will be fixed if I set this to 3 zeros with the same thing. So number, and then with 3 zeros, and now it fixes this. Super OCD, I know, but I want to make sure any values that I am exporting from REW, if they're 6 and 3, then they stay 6 and 3. So, so what I do now is I set this to 0.00 because we don't want EQ, we don't want any boosting or anything applied to these numbers, and you press enter. Then what you do is you select what you've just done, and then and after that select the entire column. Now hold Control and press enter, and 0 now gets applied to the boosted, these boosts by 44, they're now removed and they're all zeros. So what we do is we click on A, column A, hold Control. This is obviously on a PC, I'm not quite sure how you do this on a Mac. Again, while Control is held, you left click on B, and then again it's still held, Control, and then you press C, which is to basically copy. So we have copied this now, and this is still selected. So what we do is we right click over here and we paste over the top of it. Now those columns that were down at the bottom there, which I did not delete purposely, have these zeros now applied because they were just nothing. These zeros here applied to every single column that was on the screen, because I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Like when I first saw this, and I was like, oh, that's how it's working. Because sometimes if you export, say, this, and it's longer than this, like this is 48 Hertz. Sometimes I've had to export ones that are 76 or longer, and it has to then create more columns. So instead of deleting the columns, they're still here, and you can just remove them. That's it. Now, Audyssey only sees one space here, exactly the same as this anyway, so having these displayed slightly different is not a big deal. And we now save this. So what we've done is we've used negative numbers all the way up until 49 Hertz, and as soon as we start using positive numbers, I now essentially just say, look, don't apply anything, all the way to say 10 Hertz. Now we're rolling off anyway at 80 Hertz, but I want to take care of this and make the actual room curve look nice, especially no, I was going to say if Audyssey gets in the way of volume balancing, but it doesn't because it only goes down to 250. So that wouldn't be a thing. But any potential overboosting here we've taken care of. Just double check this treble. 560, yeah, that's it. Great. Okay, no EQ here. So, or target curves. So we import a target curve. Front left. That's my current. YouTube left. Okay, successful. Alright, so this is what we achieved by putting everything 0, and it's on the 0 dB line as well. We don't want to apply, what would have been happened before is this would have went all the way up here like that, and that's, no. You can't have that, you need to take care of this, and we have. This is great. So this is the 0 dB line, one thing to think about as well. These are positive numbers because this was the shallowness in bass from the original response, right? So these are being boosted, and this looks to be around 7 dB here. I'm just seeing it on these lines. So you could, there is a way now to use negative numbers of these if you wanted to. But again, you would have to know where the cutoff was. You want to take care of this. To be honest, what you could do now is import now this response, this curve, to REW, and then bring the response down if you wanted to, right? You could actually so normalize the volume, now bring it down so this isn't boosted, and this would be like on the 0 dB line, say. You can do that, which I'm actually thinking about doing that in my next next calibration, to do an entire EQ here where it's using negative numbers, no positives at all. I just want to see if it gives a cleaner response or there's no difference. What I could do is put this calibration on, say, reference, and the other way of doing it on flat. Is there an audible difference? You know, some people are like, well, you are boosting here. You know, you may think, well, we're boosting, but this is a relative boost. Like, even if I brought this down, this point here, all the way down to here, it just brings the response down. There still has to be differences between that, you know, so I don't really know. I'll have to test this myself. If I find out that you can gain even cleaner, better sound from using negative numbers only, I will do it. But you know, I haven't got around to testing that yet. It's showing as well that roll-off, that vinyl roll-off that we had going on will be taken care of now as well. So yeah. Oh, and this again. So this line here indicates 20K, which is roughly where we cut off. And I'm just looking at it on my big screen. You can't really see it, but this is slowly rolling off. It's not boosting, right? There's no boosting going off, and this represents 24K right at the edge of the screen. There's not a roll off happening per se, but it does allow the system to not boost any further after about 19-20K. So now some may say, look, I can't really hear till 18K, 17K. I think my ears I can hear to about 17K. And once it gets to 17K, I can't hear anymore. So you could get to 17K and do what I did. You could remove all of it exactly like I did and then just roll that off there. You could, you know, you're free there to do whatever you want. As long as any target curves you design, make sure there's no boosting going on here, like after it's all finished, and there's some wacky boosting going on here, because your amplifier, receiver, whatever you're using, that needs to be boosted, right? That is a power requirement now that your receiver, processor, or anything has to do. So just always think about this, about, is this worth it? You know, treble is very easy to amplify compared to bass, and that's something to even think about here. You know, we're not into deep bass, but these are deeper signals, you know, now, and they are being boosted. So yeah, so let's finalize this and get it sent to the receiver, and we'll see what we have compared to the target curve, see how close we can get this. So yeah, I've done a full calibration now with the U-Mic-2. I'm not here sitting in the way or anything like that. I always make sure when I measure speakers that nothing gets in the way of line of sight of the speaker to the microphone. Nothing is in the way. I take everything out of the room, honestly. The cushions are gone, you know, everything's gone. So, gorgeous results. Absolutely stunning. Again, I could not believe that I got this good results from just a mic change. So, can you get even better results the higher in microphones you get? Not sure, but OCA did a video the other day, or maybe a little while ago, using different microphones, and compared to a $700 microphone, and then splitting the difference between both measured microphones and using a calibration file from the split results to a very cheap microphone and getting basically legendary results from it. So okay. Okay, it's above, but calibrated. It's above, but we'll normalize this as well. Okay, there it is. Let's take some of this off. We'll take the A out of the B, and that's what we have. So as you can see, at 20K, 19K, the speaker just drops. It just this is just the speaker. It's just totally dropped off, and this is fine. You know, you don't want to be applying too much extra EQ here for a speaker that is on the edge of its performance. But tracking compared to a Harman target, I mean, we are within half a dB here. Half a dB, little waviness here, maybe 1 dB there, but we're tracking just gorgeously all the way up to 60 Hertz, you know, 60 Hertz, then that speaker just drops off. So within this frequency range from 19K to 60 Hertz, we are within 1 to 2 dB. I'll just say 1 to 2, you know, the entire way down. And most of it, up to 1K at least, is within half a dB. This gives absolutely gorgeous sound, and it is just now for that speaker. You know, you haven't got this combined response from both speakers, and on average you may get very similar to this, but individually when they're playing on their own, they just don't sound this good. Yeah. I am now a believer in individual calibration because I was combining my responses just for the fronts and all of my speakers before, and I didn't really realize how good an individual speaker calibration was. So yeah, well, very quickly now we've seen like that, I just want to go over another speaker. We may as well do the right speaker as well. So let's actually, we could keep this, save all. Let's see how quick we can actually get at actually doing one. Left cal. Alright, so clear. Let's see how quick we can go. So, well, first off, we need to make sure the correct sound sweep is going to play front right. Okay. Okay. Just wanted to get that to the end. Okay, let's go. Okay, EQ, we have the Harman target, generate measurement from target shape. Let's normalize everything. Done. Trace arithmetic. We should have labeled those. It doesn't matter, but you know, right, and let's just call this target. Okay. Trace arithmetic. So we always want a target on top. This is set up now. Yeah, generate. SPL align it, just to make sure there's that little change there. Good. Export as text. These are all my current settings, so we're good. Yes, 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 yes. Good. Save. Right. Yep, refresh. Right. Okay, first let's take care of this treble issue. 19 hertz I want. 19, the last one is 20. Pull it out. We're higher treble in this speaker. You can see it. Pull it out. Alright, let's fix this. The last number but one we replicate, so 2995. 2.995. That will create a nice roll-off. Save. We have more to do. Alright, bass, when do we start boosting? 49 hertz. These are all negative numbers. Negative numbers. Just double checking. 49 hertz. Grab it all. Okay, that's all grabbed. Alright. Oh no. I wanted to clear that all in one hit, but I pressed the wrong button. Clear. Okay. Paste that in. Come off. Click on. And we split text, 2 columns. Done. Let's fix all of this. 6, and then this one's a 3. Alright, done. Let's take care of this bottom area first. Yeah, let's just take care of this now. We don't want to deal with this. So these columns, delete selected rows. Now we won't have that extra zeros on the bottom. Okay, that's took care of that. What are we doing? 0.000. Select it, and then select the whole column. Control Enter. So I was getting lost there. Good, that's taken care of. left click A, control, hold control, left click, and then C. That's copied the whole thing. Paste, and we don't have any extra zeros. Good. No boosting here. Double check treble. 995, 995, perfect. Save. Okay, Audyssey. Reconnect. Okay, now what I'm going to do is what I do is I always now select so you can't see anything. So I make sure, I do this because I want to make sure it is applying to this channel. So import target, this is front right, right, successful, and we have right in this channel filter, so that's good, it's applied to this channel. It's not actually applying a roll off, not really, it's just, you know, really staying where it is. You could be more aggressive with that number, by the way. You could half a dB more, so it would fall off. This is, again, entirely up to you how you want to deal with this treble thing. But again, we've taken care of the bass. This would have just risen, again. We've taken care of that. Very similar response in the bass area region as the left. You can actually, can't really see it down here. There's a lot of stuff in the way. I wish you could remove this. Like, there's no need for all this to be on here. Should make that smaller. But you can actually see here the differences in my right speaker compared to my left. The right speaker is much brighter than the left speaker, and I find that very strange considering they are the same speaker. So I wouldn't actually say one is damaged, but it's probably been set up or installed in the factory slightly wrong, because most of my other speakers follow the same treble pattern as my left. It's only the right one that is brighter. So yeah. Finalize. So that's everything set up correctly. And get that sent. After a while, like I was trying to make that one quick without that conversation there. You can get very quick at doing this. I have found depends how picky I am being, I guess, but it's definitely no more than 30 minutes per speaker, that's for sure. But if you are really on a roll like that, and you can just keep going and going and going, you can do a speaker every 15 minutes or so. You know, you have the spreadsheet to take care of. You have to deal with the treble in a certain way. But you can, again, get really efficient at doing this. I'm pretty sure an entire calibration for 11 speakers, not the subs, I can definitely be done in 4 hours. So yes, but that's, you know, definitely making sure I've got my treble roll-offs done right, the bass is done right, everything is done right, and they measure right as well. You could be much quicker than this and say, hey, I know this system works. I have 100% knowledge that doing this type of EQ 100% works for me perfect all the time. You don't need to remeasure. Unfortunately, I am OCD, so I need to see what I've done. Cal. Let's normalize it just to see it. Okay. We'll take the original and the A over B off. Again, same thing. So the speaker is dropping off at 20 to 19K, very typical. And we have an absolutely gorgeous tracking speaker all the way up to 60 Hertz. I mean, again, you wouldn't believe the difference between a non-calibrated speaker and a calibrated speaker, and it's astonishing. You know, Audyssey gets a bad rap, and it's got a bad rap from me with its automatic calibration. I think it stinks. I've done a previous video showing how it works, and it's actually EQing everything to flat, and that doesn't sound good. Having this rise tilt here, you could say, from a Harman target curve, sounds gorgeous, and it makes your speakers sound gorgeous too. So EQing, I'll use the term lightly here, EQing, because this isn't EQ. You're not applying parametric EQs or Q filters doing this way. You're actually just applying a positive number here if you need it. You know, it is a target curve that then the speakers now will follow. So it's not true EQ. However, doing this way I'll call it lightly EQ, has changed the way my speakers sound entirely compared to if I had to EQ this entire band. Now I'm going to do almost like a comparison video of can you EQ an entire speaker from 60 Hertz to 19 Hertz in the same way, but use EQ in here. We would have to EQ on generic, and can you get better results? There's going to be a lot of filters. That's going to be the scary thing. I think I can use as many filters as I like. There's no restrictions in Audyssey. I don't like to stack EQs anymore because of the way it can affect phase and impulse timing. So it would only be a 1 EQ. But yeah, again, have you personally done an EQ and were able to get your results as close as this to a Harman curve? It'd be very difficult. I think it'd be extremely difficult. The amount of detail and resolution you need just to get it, and this is like ultra clean, right? It's just one import, that's it. So I won't say that this way is absolutely going to be better than the EQ way. I can't see it. That you would need so many files to get close to this. And I actually get better results as well when I do my EQ, say, properly. One thing to remember is this result is with me in the way of my right speaker here. I've got a laptop in front. It's not the exact response. I've got cushions here. Yes, they do make a difference. I've got a cushion on the other side as well, and they do make a difference. Everything makes a difference. So anything that you can get out of the way of the line of sight of the speaker, just everything comes out of my room when I do it for real, and you get super clean. So you get clean. You get even cleaner than this. So yeah, it's really astonishing what you can do with this method, and there is one restriction that this system now has, and that is power. Are my speakers powerful enough to use all of this frequency band, and is my receiver powerful enough to do it? If you have, we're in 2023 now, so this is a 2023 video. Last year, Denon released their flagship receiver. It cost $7,000, and I think it's 1,100 watts of power. Like, it is, for a receiver, is absolutely absurd. I compared this to a real amplifier from who was it? They make audio. They used to make, or they do, they make cheap HDMI cables. Audio, no, I can't remember who it is. See, that's the thing. I do these videos, and there's so much stuff. For like, when I look back, I'm like, well, it's these guys, you know. But when I'm making a video, I tend to forget a lot of things. Anyway, they make an 11-channel amplifier, and the amplifier's like 300 or 200 watts more than the Denon receiver. So I was just like, it costs $7,000. And separates cost around the same anyway. So I was just like, I don't know if at that point separates would be better sound quality. Because again, when I would EQ this way as well on the new receiver that I got. So again, the only restriction I have is power. So you gain 200 watts? No, wait. Or is that current? Volts. Yeah, I can't remember anymore. It might have been volts, yeah, like 1100 volts, or yeah. But you don't gain. I felt that you don't gain enough from separates now at this price range when a receiver actually has that much power, like a Denon flagship receiver now. So for me, if Denon really starts to move into this direction of they're going back to the old days of 2006 or 2011 when they had their ultra powerful receivers, and I mean serious, it would almost drain the entire socket. If you had a 15 amp outlet, it's almost using the entire thing, and that's a receiver. So because for me, the sound quality, talking about Denon receivers, if you've seen measurements for them, they're flat. They're a completely flat response, and they have great signal-to-noise ratio. Their measurements are just excellent. I think receiver-wise, for me personally, Denon are the best in their field. They have all of the latest HDMIs. The HDMIs are not compressed either. Actually, I don't want to get too taken off track by talking about like receivers when I'm supposed to be talking about this, but we are using Audyssey here, so chances are that you're going to have a Marantz or a Denon receiver, and kind of understand here where I'm going with this. Like now with receivers, especially the flagship stuff is getting so close to separates that in my room here, it's probably too much power anyway. I won't need, that's just more headroom for me, having that much power, like 1100 watts of power. It may not be watts, it may be volts, but someone's definitely going to correct me on that one. But yeah, it's pushing hard, so. use analog outs for that one. And the sound quality is just so good. Smooth, never harsh. And again, you're going to have it with a response like this. I always talk about living in North Carolina and going to see Audio Advice, which is a high-end audio store we have here in North Carolina. It's probably about 25-30 minutes drive though away from where I live, but it is well worth it. And the demo rooms in there is something I do talk about quite a lot, and it's a sound that I've always wanted to have. But you can't believe the amount of money that is in their audio room, their demo 2-channel room. Like obscene amounts of money, and amplification for single channels, by the way. We're not using an amplifier for both or anything like that. Single channel amplification, everything. You know, just incredible sound. After getting a U-Mic 2, I got very, very close to that sound that you simply could not get with a U-Mic 1. The U-Mic 1 sounded dry, and I was like, ugh, I'm not sure if I actually like this sound anymore. I got a U-Mic 2, did an EQ, thinking, hey, it'd be nice if it does sound better, but let's see. Instantly, we knew right away. The treble area is so much fineness in this area now. I'm going to use the words hi-fi. It sounds hi-fi. Whereas before, there was a little bit of a dryness to the sound. And again, this was just changing the microphone. So I might even check out OCA's files. He has files from a $700 mic that you can put in the U-Mic 2. And he recalibrated the U-Mic 2 compared to that. If that gives an even better sound, I would be shocked, honestly, that could be done as well. So yeah, this world never ends, really. You know, once you get into this, it does become a bit of an obsession. You know, I have calibrated my system. Even over the last 2 weeks, I've probably calibrated my subs like 3 times using maybe slightly different methods, and EQing my speakers off axis, on axis, and seeing what you can actually do with sound and things like that. I've been trying lots of different things, and now I've got this, you know, new microphone. I've been testing that as well and seeing how much more detail and resolution you can get with that. So yeah, never ends. I guess that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. So if anyone tells you Audyssey sucks, not when you do it, it doesn't suck. With MultEQ-X, you have full control over everything that you want to do with your sound. And to be completely honest, I don't know if any of the others allow you to go into this much detail, allow you to do this with the other room correction software. Like, can you turn off the EQ entirely from Dirac and import only what I want to do to the speakers? I don't know. You know, I'm trying to find videos of people using Dirac kind of at the level that this is, and I can't really seem to find them. So, you know, I don't know what it can do. Now, Dirac just got added to some of the, at least the high-end receivers for Denon and Marantz. And someday I want to test Dirac out. I would love to test it out and see what you can do. If you cannot do this, then I will not be using Dirac, end of story. You know, I don't care how much it costs or anything like that, because I would want to test it out. And if other people say that it's better, then that's up to them. But if I cannot achieve these results, and the results that I actually have when I do a real calibration are even tighter than this, if I can't get this, then I will simply choose the other one. This isn't like a I'm cheering for Audyssey because it's absolutely the best. I don't, when you're manually EQing, I don't know that. I am just going to use what is better. Now, if you can't do this, then I will simply use Audyssey. End of story. I only use what's best. It's like with the subwoofer. I have switched back to using a MINIDSP, and it is quite simple because it has more Q resolution for cuts and things like that. So you can just get a better sound than you can using Audyssey. Audyssey, again, is restricted to this 12 dB per octave type of resolution, and it's limited to 20 Q as well. So same with bass. I've bought a MINIDSP. Using Audyssey for bass is a step backwards. It just is. It's a step backwards. Can I get close results to my MINIDSP? Yes, extremely close. I mean, it is very close, but I feel as though I get tighter bass when I use a MINIDSP. And again, I only use what is better. I'm not in anybody's camp here. I'm not, oh, MINIDSP is better because I'm a fan. It's not that. I just use what's better. Same with these room correction systems. If I find out that Dirac is better and I can somehow get better results here because the import allows me to do better, more resolution or something like that, cleaner or anything, I'll use it. But yeah, gonna have to figure all this out yet. So okay, so yeah, this was an individual calibration. I hope you can fully understand the process, the A over B, the spreadsheets, the way I roll off treble, things like that. And it really just shows you the type of results you can get. Now, you don't have to use this target curve either. You can use any target curve with this method, and it will track, again, within one, I mean, at this point, like, it's 1 dB, right? 1.5 dB here, but it is half a dB here. Any target curve you like, it will track to if you do it this way. So, again, all with Audyssey, all with Audyssey MultEQ-X. So, where can you go from this? I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. Even if you could do this in Dirac or any of the other room correction systems, would it be better? I don't know. Is this the limit of what we can do with EQ? At the minute, I think it is. I haven't been introduced to another method that would actually be better than this. So, as far as I know, this is as good as it gets. So, yeah. I appreciate you watching, and have a great day. Bye.